All right, let's see. Let's get going here. There we go. And there we get started. Okay, back to the syllabus, back to here. All right, so this is our LIS 2937 Database Concepts course. All right, let's just take a brief stroll through the syllabus real quick. My name is John Sullivan. Best way to get a hold of me is by email. And I would say during the week, I'll try to respond within 24 hours. Weekends, I'm father, husband, baseball coach, and all kinds of other things, and I will probably not respond till Monday morning at the earliest if you have a problem, say on Sunday night. If you email me at 11 o'clock on Sunday night, I'm sound asleep. Not happening. So sorry about that, but that's just the way it goes. Anyway, our book is our Database Concepts book by Crunky and Hour. Good book. I like it. It's plenty of illustrations. They take a lot of time going through different concepts so that you can understand it. And you'll notice that in this course, we go through at a very modest pace. Now, there's some other things in here, some sample tutorials that are out there. Please let me know if any of these links are broken, if you run across them. I think they're all okay. I haven't tested them in a little while. But if you're looking for a Microsoft Access tutorial, this one here is on 2007. Probably a different version by now. But if these links don't work anymore, please let me know. All right, how is our work evaluated? Stop. Assignments are 20%. So each week we'll have an assignment. All assignments are due Sunday nights at midnight. And that goes for even when we have our midterm exam, that'll also be due by midnight on a Sunday. Here's the thing. Don't sweat the tests in here. Okay? The tests are basically a learning checkpoint to make sure it lets me know that what I'm putting out there, you understand. It lets you know that you're going in the right direction. That's the whole thing. I'm not concerned about making midterms and final exams that are so hard to do that, I fail half the class. That is not my motivation at all. The exams are online. They are open book. They are multiple choice. You've got like 3 hours to do them. Do you get the point, right? I'm not going to make you lose sleep over an exam. On the other hand, what I do want you to do work, the project and the assignments, I am interested in how well you do, because that tells me on an application level how well you're doing. If you can't create an Access database and put a table in a database after the 5th week of the course, then I know I got a problem, right? So the whole idea is giving this hands-on work so that you can do this. Now, if you look, we have our first chapters this week, and this is sort of a theoretical chapter. I have a discussion board for this week. I'll show you the link to that. It's just sort of getting us off the ground. But if you look beyond that, we go about 2 weeks per chapter. So, and I think it's more than enough time. We're going to go through 5, maybe 6 chapters in the whole course. Actually, I have to update this. This is my summer syllabus. I will have, by the end of today, I will have it updated with the fall version of the syllabus. But somehow I left my summer one on there. My bad. Anyway, but in here it'll we have every week we're going to have a seminar. So for 1 hour, we'll go over basic concepts for that week. So if you've got something due on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about it. If you have questions, that you want me to record and you can't be here, send me an email, and I'll try to make a point to make sure I address those on the recording. If you can be here, that's great, because then you can just ask whatever pops into your head, and you'll be fine. Okay, so we're going to go through about 5 or 6 chapters. And if you look at the book, lots of illustrations in this book. They have this section called the Access Workbench. It's an ongoing thing. In the first chapter, they have an Access Workbench where you build a database and put like 1 or 2 tables in there. And then the next chapter, you do something else. And the next chapter, you do something else. By the end of the course, you have a pretty decent database with some capability built into it. So they try to touch on every little piece, and it's pretty easy to understand. All right, so any questions on the syllabus? Don't worry, sweat the syllabus too bad. Oh, the project at the end of the semester. So we're going to talk about, in each chapter, we're going to talk about building tables, setting up relationships, doing queries, doing reports and forms and all that stuff. You're going to get that individually. We're going to do some SQL, structured query language, writing some SQL code. Then at the end of the course, we'll do some design principles and things like that. At the end of the course, we'll have a project that's going to incorporate all that stuff into a project. Right? And you're going to write a database program for a particular business. And you're going to have to go through all the same processes that you learned about in each one of these chapters. Designing, and then building and putting records in and creating reports and that kind of stuff. Right? So and we'll get into that more as we move down through the course. But I have to make sure I remember to update the syllabus by the end of today so that you guys will be all right. All right. In Canvas, under modules, I've broken everything down by week. So you should, let's see, make sure I have all the weeks in here. 9, 11, yep, here we go. We got them all. All right, so everything that's in there, so when you have a midterm exam on week 9, there it is. You just go into week 9. So I've reorganized my courses to be, more of this style. Now each week each chapter anyways, I have a set of PowerPoint slides. I tend not to do death by PowerPoint in here if I can help it. There will be some times when I will use a little bit of PowerPoint, but generally I don't. And then we have an assignment, week 1 getting started. All right, so let me show you where that goes. There is a discussion board. And I got to fix that because it's more than 0 points. After reading chapter 1, go to the discussion board and answer it. Here's the week 1 discussion. Here's one of the things I'm going to be looking for. Show evidence that you read the chapter when you answer the question, when you respond to the discussion. So we all know that computing power has increased dramatically in the last 50 years, and that has led to more and more information about us being captured and stored in company government databases. As a society, we are more at risk than ever for identity theft and breaches of sensitive information, which could cause considerable financial injury. With so much to lose, why use databases at all? Businesses were very successful long before they came along. Why do it? Who needs it? So this is sort of an adversarial stance on why do we need these complex data? Why do we need Amazon anyway? We were doing just fine when we had Barnes & Noble. Why do we need Amazon? So anyway, give me some rebuttal on that. So that's our first week assignment. Any questions? And you will see recordings will be under Panopto recordings. So when we have our seminars every week, I'm recording those, and you'll have 1 or 2 recordings that will reflect what we talked about. So this one is still going on, so it's not ready to go. Questions about the course?
For the project you mentioned, is 30%. Would that be individual project or group project?
Individual.
Great.
you'll be more than capable, by the time you get to that project, you'll be more than capable of completing it on your own. It's, if you want to take a look at it, I want to make sure I have the right one here, so, because I did change it. Project, here we go. Whoa. All right, read. Oh, okay, yeah, I did change it. This is good. This is what I wanted. In a lot of the stuff we don't know yet, but we're going to read the database project document, which is on the next. Go back. Which is down here. Oh. Come on, there we go. All right, this is a marina. Do you like boats?
I like kayaks.
Okay, I have a kayak too. I'll have to show you a picture of my kayak. All right, so we have a Word document here that gives you, and then I tried to anticipate how it really works in the real world, right? So you get some kind of information. So here we have some kind of information, and granted, I will don't sweat the details here because we don't know enough to even worry about this yet. So typically what you have is you start off with a problem statement or a statement of need, right? And this comes from the Float Your Boat Marina staff. So you've been asked to develop a database for the Float Your Boat Marina. As you might expect, the marinas and the owners of the marina are into boating and they have very little knowledge of technology. So in your design, you're going to be using techniques that we're going to learn along the way that help technical people communicate with non-technical people in an easy way they can understand. They can see how things fit together. So you already know how to do that when you get to this point, and then phase one is your design phase. You're going to go use some design techniques that we're going to learn, entity relationship diagrams and things like that. Any assumptions that you make, you're going to state those assumptions. I'm assuming that one or the other is true. When you read through this document, your first part is to ask them 2 questions related to this thing. So as you read this, you're reading between the lines as well. You're saying, well, they say that this is true, but they're not saying something else. And usually it's not what they're saying, it's what they're not saying. And that's where you get clarification. Okay? So I want you to sort of like use your critical thinking to sort of see through this and say, all right, I need some clarification on 1 or 2 of these things. And then I just want to see the questions. I probably won't answer them. I'll let you answer them yourself. So, but I want to see how well you dig into that and come up with some good pointed questions. I used to work with a guy who was really good at asking what we called dumb questions. You can learn a lot by asking dumb questions. And he used to sit there in meetings. I'd go with him. We'd be working on a database project together, and we'd go over. This was in the Department of Defense, and we'd go over and sit with all these guys, and everybody'd be all, telling us what this thing needed. And Larry would just sit there, and he wouldn't say much. And then right near the end of the meeting, he'd blurt out this question that would turn everybody's head, and it would just be some dumb question, but he'd ask it because he knew that somebody had forgotten something. And he was just trying to point that out in a polite way. And he was brilliant at it. And I used to sit there, Larry's not saying anything today. That means he's got something and he's going to drop a bombshell on us later on. And he was really good at it. So, and he had a way of doing it without offending anybody. You can ask a really stupid question or what appears to be a stupid question, but people go, oh, we forgot to do, and he wasn't talking down to them. So, but anyway. So you're going to read over the specification, figure out what information is missing, what could I learn if I had some sample data. Usually when you go through these in real life, you get some sample data, they show you some sample reports, may or may not happen. All right, here's submit the Word document. This is phase 1A. Word document, in making sure that your questions are answered in a way that the non-technical people can understand. All right? I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because we'll get to this when the time is appropriate, but I guess it's kind of encouraging that you're going to be able to do this. About another couple of months, you're going to be able to do this, so that's pretty cool. All right, so there's 10 employees, and you got, these are how things are. You got employees, customer services. This is kind of how it's all laid out. So then you're going to move on, use your design techniques. So you're doing some investigation, some design, and then you're going to take the design and put it into Access. We're going to use Microsoft Access. Whatever version of Access you want to use is fine with me. The book uses, I think it's 2013. I'm not exactly sure. But there are, if you have an old version of Access, you can do the stuff that's in here, but it's going to look different than the pictures in the book. So if you have the same version of Access that they have in the book, I think it's 2013, but I don't know. It'll tell you somewhere in there. It'll be a lot easier for you to understand. So then that's what this is basically a scaled down version of how you build a database system. Your big thing is, what do they want to do? What problem is this going to solve, or what need is it going to solve? You have a meeting, so we kind of talk back and forth. Systems analysts, have you ever spent any time as a system analyst?
No.
That's kind of a cool job too, because you tend to spend a lot of your time designing systems, so you work with technical people and you can speak the lingo of the technical people, but a good systems analyst can also talk to non-technical people in a way that's not threatening, in a way that they understand, and being able to be the intermediary between both groups is a valuable service. People who are really good at it are very good at communicating.
Get the hint. You're being the IT liaison between literate and non-literate.
Right, exactly. And it's a necessary skill. We need people who can do that. Okay, let me put this away. Any questions on what we got going in the course? We're good? All right.